Good afternoon, everyone. So, as we know, we are dealing with the natural language processing. And what is a natural language processing? That is NLP, is the branch of computer science which focus on the developing the systems that allow computers to communicate with people using everyday language. Like, for example, if I find any query into the Google that what is NLP, okay, the computer or processor is going to think like a human being and process on it. Okay. And then by understanding the language, he is going to generate the syntax tree for that query, which is going to check that whether whatever the content you have entered is correct or not. So again, the NLP is also called as a computational linguistic. That is nothing but a computation. Means we are going to process on it, and after processing, we are going to generate something concrete output. Okay. So what type of output or computations we are going to do? So here we are going to perform a linguistic, means language processing. You are going to apply that whatever the intent content you are going to enter through the keyboard in the Google or anywhere, a processor is going to think on that, process on it, check that whatever the spelling you have entered is correct or not. Whatever the content you want to ask, are those content are valid or not? That all things are going to be get evaluated, computed during the computational linguistics. So this is a method where we can just find how the methods are going to be generated and needs to understand the human language. Then what are the applications? Why we want to learn about the language processing? That is for natural language processing. So in a natural language processing, the applications are like search engine results. Search engine results, if you observe them, we already discussed, but I want to just again recall the concepts and then we will try to focus on the new. So when you are going to enter something into the Google, at that time, if the search is predefined, you already search for that. That's called as a predictive searching. Okay. So where it is going to give you a smart answers that what type of content you want to type, and with minimum efforts, I will be able to enter the content, and that is called as a smart search and predictive text. So if you observe in a mobile, when you are going to type something, the message you are going to type either in a WhatsApp or on any social networking sites, a smart or predictive text is going to be highlighted at a keyboard. So that is called as the one of the application of natural language processing, which is going to understand that what you want to type on that. Or what are the various texts you already type. So you will again select, the processor is again select those texts also from where you in the history you have typed. Then another example of natural language processing is a chatbot. Chatbots are nothing but the mediator on which is a similar that of the Google, but it has a specific genre where you are going to store what type of contents you have searched for last time and gives a better output on your then language translation is the major application of natural language processing. That is nothing but the what we can say, if I'm going to travel to any another place and I'm not aware of the regional languages at that time. Also, a Google Translator is also one of the best example for translation languages. That is nothing but the if in a Google I want to translate something into the regional language rather than English language, or vice versa, then also I will be able to use the language translation. Now, survey analytics is very important thing in which you are going to, if there are thousands of lines of script is there, and I want to know what is the brief history of that particular content. So that is going to be happen in the survey analytics in which you are going to summarize the complete history. Okay. Next is semantic search. This is also very good or beautiful application of natural language processing. where you are able to understand the content. Semantic is nothing but the understanding the content. For example, if I want to know what is the recipe of chapati, right? So here the processor is going to understand those things, that what type of content you want. Otherwise, there might be ambiguity, but nowadays we are trying to remove those ambiguity and process in better way and gives the understanding the meaning of the content. Next application of NLP is sentiment analysis, where if you observe nowadays in a WhatsApp, we are going to generate the code and where we are going to ask the opinions of the customers or the friends that, for example, you want to visit or plan for a trip, okay? And then we can generate the opinion that how many students wants to join for the uh, trip and how many are not. So for that also, we are going to generate the code. So which is going to analyze how many of them have pressed for yes and how many of them have not for this as a no. So that is also called as an opinion poll. Nowadays, that opinion can be applied for various application, whether it is the election poll or the product poll. That how is the response of the customers for a specific product. So for that also, we are going to generate the poll, and which is the best example of sentiment. Then autocomplete and autocorrect. So when you are going to type like type checker or spelling checkers are there. Grammarly check is the example where we can, whatever your content you are going to type into the Google Draft or a Word document, it is going to complete it, or also it is going to check that grammarly your contents are correct or not. Also, the spellings are gets checked. So all these are nothing but the applications of natural language. Then email filters, we know that this is the best example where filterization is going to be applied on emails, and that we are going to classify whether my email is an email or a spam, and according to that, the email is gets classified and transmitted to the spam. Then natural language generation, that is nothing but that whatever the content you are going to type, according to that, it is going to generate the scripts and process it, search it into the search engines, and according to that, a standard answer, a applicable answer is going to be generated. Then there is smart assistants, where we know that Siri and Alexa, we are going to give the commands to a software and it's going to process on that. Google Assistant is also one of the best example for smart assistant, where through the mic you can ask something, and this is the best way. Those who are not able to type or blind people are there. Those people can use their social media monitoring, customer service automation. These are the very important business oriented applications where we can monitor the customers, where we can analyze that what is the tendency of a customer and what is their opinion about the product. Then text analysis is the best example of again NLP, where we are going to check that handwriting recognition and optical character recognition is the best examples of this text analysis. Then video recognition or automatic speech recognition, speech to text recognition is also the examples where you can just type the keys and that is get converted into audio signal, or any message or audio voice if you record and that is gets converted into the text messages. So this is also the example of natural language. So, what are the various areas related to the NLP? And those are nothing but the artificial intelligence. What is artificial intelligence? Artificial intelligence is nothing but we are going to provide the intelligence to the systems which are human created, and we allow we are training that system in such a way that they are going to think themselves and give us a decision. Okay. Another related area to NLP is a formal languages, that is nothing but the automata. What is exactly automata? So in automata, we are going to check what are the true conditions and what are the false condition, what are the various possibilities of getting that answer. So all those processes, regular language, and various other methods we have already studied into the formal language. Then machine learning. It is the very important branch of artificial intelligence where we apply the statistical operations and mathematical operations to find some outputs. Why the machine learning is so popular nowadays that they, we are able to predict something. If I want to predict the price of a property, if I want to predict the price of any product, and the accuracy of that prediction is nowadays closer to the 100%. And that's why, and whatever the base is there to find out that prediction is a mathematical and universally accepted. So that's why nowadays machine learning is becoming more. Then another related area to NLP is nothing but the linguistic. What is exactly a linguistic? So linguistic is nothing but the whatever the processes, pronouncing, the pronunciation, all those we are going to convert from audio to text and text to audio. And while we are going to converting that things, what are the various methods we require? That all study is going to be done in the linguistics. Then psychologically linguistic is nothing but that if a person is typing something in the Google or anything else, so what is his mentality? Why he is typing so? So to analyze the behavior of an end user, this branch is studied. Then cognitive science. Cognitive science is what is a cognitive science? So here in the as we discussed that linguistic is nothing but the scientific study of language and its structure. That we know that in the English language you have a subject and then the verb should be there, and likewise in that format a verb sentence is going to be formed. So similar rules are there while we are going to give the some command to the computer and how computer is going to understand those things. So all those formation of structures are going to be considered into the linguistic. Now, what is the psychologist? So psychologist is but the study of the cognitive processes which we are going to underline the language acquisitions, production, and comprehension, in which we are just analyzing that whatever the statement we are going to generate, is it grammatically and syntactically correct or not. So all those things are going to be considered into the in cognitive science. It is going to deal with the knowledge. Okay, and what is knowledge? How a knowledge is acquired, processed in the brain. So similar methodology we are going to apply into the cognitive science, where processor will act as a human brain, will accept those sentences through the text or audio signal from the user, process it, understand, try to understand it, and then 100% accurate answers can be given back to the user, end user, and that is going to be understood in the cognitive. Then the another is a philosophy of language. What is a philosophy of a language? So a philosophy language is it applies the relation between the language and the reality. This is very important. In a psychology or philosophy of a language, where we want to understand what is exactly a reality, and whatever the medium of communication you are going to use for those communication is correct or not, and we want to build a good relation between these two entities. So how we can be able to make a meaningful conversation, understanding one with the other one. So all those details and analytical study is going to be done in the psychology or philosophy of a language. Now, whenever we are going to one more terminology we are going to have here, that is an intention. Okay, so whenever we are going to perform a communication with the end user, a language is a better medium for a communication. So when we are going to use any language, the goal of that language should be whatever the production we are going to generate on comprehension, that should be a better and a well executed. Okay, so when your communication for a speaker is going to be done, there are the three rules or patterns we need to understand. And the first pattern is intention. What is exactly intention? So in intention, we are able to decide what and when information should be transmitted. This is very important statement if you understand that. That in intention, we are going to understand whatever the medium of communication or language we are going to use. In that, what type of information we are going to exchange and what type of information is gets transmitted from one user to another user, and what type of information and when it is gets transmitted. That all things we need to understand, and that is called as intentions. Now, what are the various examples of intentions? That is nothing but the content selection or strategic generations. So here, whenever suppose that we are going to have a brief two-page information, and among that in two-page, I want to select or sort summarize that paragraph or two-page into one paragraph. That is called as a content selection. So in that, we are going to apply some strategy and which are the important part, which are the point to be highlighted. All those is comes under the content selection. Again, strategic generations is nothing but if dynamically a topic is given to you and from those you want to generate any content, that is also comes under the strategic generation. So here, when you are going to generate these contents, you require planning and listening. This is very important about the agent's goals and beliefs. That is, but whatever the contents are there, so what should be the flow and why we want to put those contents one by one. So all those should be, there should be the reason why we want to place one by one. It's also called as the algorithmic execution of the contents. So what are the various examples of intentions? So first example is sentiment analysis, chatbots, text extractions or text summarization, and speech recognition. These are the some examples of intentions where we apply that, we try to decide in what information we want to place. Sentiment analysis, like if we give some paragraph or 2 to 3 pages, and among that 3 pages we want to shorten and summarize those content, that is called as a sentiment analysis, where you are going to understand that whatever the sentences are that among that sentence, which sentence is very important and which we can include and which we can exclude. So when you want to exclude something, that should be in a repetitive manner, or that weightage or importance is not that much of the other sentences. So those analysis we need to apply during the sentiment analysis. Chatbots, we know that whatever the content we want to know, when nowadays we are just going to type into that chatbot, AI chatbots, and they are going to generate the content according to that in a brief and summarized format, which we can easily use for our content. Then text extraction is also very important part of intentions. That is nothing but here a huge amount of drafts are there, and from that if we want to select few of them, then this methodology is used. I also used in my MTech dissertation, where we want to highlight the foreground text and extract those text from the video for video indexing. I use some color polarities and other methodologies to extract those contents. Then text summarizations, also the one of the example of intention and speech recognitions. The next method for communication is nothing but the generation, where we are going to translate the information to be communicated, right? Suppose, for example, the Google Translator, whatever the content you are going to type into the English, that is going to be get converted into another language. So, what we are going to do exactly in this generation? So, in internal logical representation or language of thought, that is called as a generation. So, for a thought, there might be some base. On basis of that only, we are going to generate a logical pattern. So here we are going to convert or translate the information to be communicated into the string of words. The string of word is called as a sentence in a desired natural languages. So what are the various examples of generations? So those examples are like surface realization and tactical generations, where we are going to understand what type of contents are there, and then after understanding those, how we can summarize and convert that text into another. The next goal of a communication is synthesis. What exactly we are going to perform in a synthesis? So output the string in a desired modality or text or speech. Okay. So what exactly we are going to do? So in synthesis, we are going to find out whatever the text we supplied as an input and the output is going to be generated is at that of the user desired or not. If it is not, then again we try to further process on it and provide and process as per the requirement of the end user. Then there are the few more rules for a communication, and that is nothing but the perception. What is the perception? So perceptions are going to use optical character recognition. It is a very well-known method for just extracting the characters and process on it. So it is going to do the map input modality to a string of words. So just whatever the text is there, when we are going to capture a photo of any image, then it gets converted from the analog to, and to convert those contents from analog to digital, this optical character recognition plays a very, which is going to consider one by one all characters are get scanned, get converted into a digital image, and further you can process on those images. Speech recognition is also the same, where through the microphones and various other elements, we are able to capture the speech. And we know that speech is a one-dimensional element. What is a one-dimensional element? In which only single element is going to vary with the XY domain. Okay, so whatever the audio fluctuations are there, that is going to be varied with x-axis. Next is analysis. What is analysis? It determines the information content of the screen. This is important. Now, analysis is going to perform the analytical study of your content, the information content. So, how and what basis you are going to analyze the content? So, first is a syntactic interpretation, that is also called as a parsing. This we already studied into the compiler design, so where we want to generate a tree, binary tree of that graph. Okay, so what exactly we are going to do? So here we will find the correct parse tree showing the phrase structure of the tree. Okay, now suppose that if I use what is string, okay, at that time this parser is going to divide my string into the number of words. So what is the syntax tree, okay, and every individual string is again further operated as a keyword, and further it is processed, where we are going to check syntactically and semantically the words are correct or not. If it is correct, it is further get processed, and there might be some ambiguity contents are also. Like what are the ambiguity contents? We already discussed in the last lecture what is ambiguity content. That a word which can have two meanings at that time, it is quite difficult to a processor to understand what exactly an end user wants to process. For example, that the tank was full of water. So we just read the first two words, the tank was full. So when we are going to think about the tank tank might be a army tank, or army or a tank might be a water containing tank. So at that time, we need to understand what is the user's perspective, what he wants to know, and according to that, the answer should be get displayed. So this is comes under the accuracy, that how many positive cases as per the user requirement we are going to find. Another example for ambiguity as old men, women were taken to safe place. So it is also ambiguity statement where if we divide the word into the small words, then old, men, and women, we divided the different words were taken to safe place. So it's their meaning that whether the men had taken to safe place or just women had placed to a safe place, or both were it placed to the safe place. So it is quite difficult to predict something, and that is called as the ambiguity. Another type of analysis is nothing but the semantic interpretation. So word itself is the meaning, that is semantic. We are going to form the meaning from that one. We want to extract the meaning of that languages. And here we are going to form the logical form of your statement. So the example of these semantic interpretations are nothing but the chatbots can detect caller emotions and make a real-time decision. Okay, so if anywhere in a chatbot you type something emotional content, and nowadays with the help of this NLP, the processor is able to understand the content. They are able to understand the emotion of the end user and try to process on them and give the end. So if you observe nowadays, if you put the smiley on any reinforcement learning, we are going to apply nowadays for e-commerce sites. And if we post some type of emojis, smiley or sad emojis, so we are able to understand that what is the human behavior or emotions for those content. So nowadays, this is going to be happen, and the best example of semantic interpretation. Next type of this analysis is nothing but the pragmatic interpretation. What exactly is the meaning of pragmatic? So it is going to consider the effect of overall context on altering the literal meaning of a sentence. That whatever the command is given by the customer, they are going to understand it. The processor is able to understand it, and based on those commands, is going to the process on it. For example, in the concept of smart home or smart gadgets, we are going to have nowadays where which are going to be controlled through your voice, like Alexa or a smart home. Yeah, we are going to give some commands like open the door or close the door, switch on the lights. So through all your command also you are able to control the device. Also, Alexa and Siri are the best examples of Google Assistant, where if you tell them some commands, they are going to process on that particular order. So this is called as a pragmatic interpretation. So the next type of communication, very important parameter, is nothing but the incorporation, where we are able to decide whether or not to believe the content of the string and add it to the KBs, right? And here, whatever the text data is going to be entered or audio data is gets converted to the text, we are going to decide that whatever the contents are there, those contents are correct and up to the mark, and we can further process for those data. So now today I'm going to give you a few assignments, and those assignments are nothing but what is NLP. Then next assignment is explain in details the real-time applications of NLP. And last assignment is what is computational linguistics and explain it in a detailed manner. Okay, so these are the assignments which you can maintain a separate notebook, and try to write all these questions into the answers of these questions to your notebook, which will help you at the end of your examination. This is very important thing. Okay. Then, any difficulty so far? Yes? Any difficulty? Okay. So now when we are going to perform the communication, how exactly a communication is going to be? This is very important, right? So please kindly pay more attention on this. So this is nothing but the intentions which we are going to accept from the user. When you are going to accept those things, there are the two ways to accept, that is either audio or the text. Okay. So through audio, if you are going to give any command, so through the microphones and speakers, you are going to give the command. Okay. And then after accepting those, converting those one-dimensional audio signal to the text, then further that text is going to be processed for synthesis. As we know that what is the purpose of synthesis? Synthesis is nothing but output stream, whatever you want to desire to process further, we need to process on it. Okay. And suppose that a user had raised or speak about the thanks website. For example, this is some audio command he had given, and when you are going to capture through the hardware devices those texts, it is quite difficult. Okay, so they understand, they just capture those contents, and further they are going to process it, because when I'm going to pronounce something, the pronunciation of every individual is different one. For example, if a people from Maharashtra, their phonetics are different. So their pronunciation of some words and some alphabets are different. With the same scenario, if you are going to move to the some south side, and if we are going to consider the Tamil Nadu or Andhra people, or the people which are going to live into the Hyderabad, their pronunciation is quite different one. So when we are going to convert that audio signal to text signal, version of that might be get changed. Okay, so we accept those syntax or that sentences and forward it to the analysis or parsing. During my parsing stage, I am going to convert that text or sentence into the two types. What are those two types? That is nothing but the noun phrase and verb phrase. Okay, here whatever the sentence is there, that sentence we are going to convert it into the two types, and in this way we are going to form a parts tree for your content, where the sentences is gets converted into the noun phrase, and another type is nothing but the verb. So what exactly comes under the noun phrase? So when we are going to deal with the noun phrase, we are going to convert that sentence or that content into the either article or the noun. So if you observe, when my input string was the wampus is dead, so in that we tried is either the is an article, noun is wampus. Then verb is, and again adjective is nothing but the dead. So in this manner, we are going to generate the parts tree, and whose features are nothing but the noun phrase and verb phrase, and according to that we will form the sentence. Once you found the complete tree, then we are going to apply the semantic interpretation on that. What exactly we are going to perform during the semantic interpretation? So before to that, when we are going to form this tree, we need to understand that is there any ambiguity present into the sentence and tree or not, right? Based on this article, noun, verb and adjective, we will be able to understand that syntactically my sentence is correct. Article, verb and then adjective and noun are placed at their correct place, and from that I will be able to understand the meaning of that sentence. Okay, so my analysis of parsing and disambiguation is also gets removed. Ambiguity from that sentence, that there might be two meanings from the sentences, or any scenario where the syntactically the contents are correct or not. That all things I need to understand over here. Then the next step of my communication is a semantic interpretation, where we want to understand the meaning of that sentence, and whatever the meaning I'm going to get and generate, are those correct or not, that we are going to understand during the semantic interpretation. Then the next and the last step is nothing but the pragmatic interpretation, where we are going to form the negation form of the sentence as well as the positive form of the sentence, and based on that, we are going to check every individual possibility so that the sentence is accurately formed or not. Because while we are going to form this sentence, whatever the query is fired by the user in a Google, and when we want to give back it to the answer, give back to the end user. So whatever the sentence a processor or Google search engine is going to form, is going to understand and follow this methodology: article, then verb, and then adjective. So they form in this manner the complete sentence, and going to give back to the end user, and likewise they are going to process on it. So they are going to prefer the three methodologies, that is nothing but the syntax, semantics, and pragmatic. Now, if a compiler is not able to understand those things, what might be the effect of that on your sentence, you will understand by this. The dog bit the boy. If you see, this is a very normal sentence, and we will try to extract the meaning of those sentences, and that there is a boy and there is a dog, where the dog bites the boy. Okay, that is the core heart and the heart of the sentence, and this is the correct sentence. Okay, now if compiler don't know about the syntax tree and semantic analysis, he just swap the contents of verb and noun and just exchange the positions of those. So if you are need to understand here, the complete meaning is going to be changed, that the boy beat the dog, which is not going to be happen, right? So such types of things should not be there. So to follow or to give back to the acknowledgement and the correct answer and maintain the accuracy, we need to have a syntax and semantic and pragmatic analysis. Then there is a further formation of the syntax tree as bit, boy, dog, the. We just exchange the places of every individual word, and we are going to check. So there should not be any meaningful sentence is coming out of where we are just swapping the positions of every individual word. And we need to understand this also when we are going to build a syntax tree, and further we want to form the semantic analysis of those sentences. A meaningful sentence should come out, and that is nothing but the pragmatic. Pragmatic, as we observe here, we understand the pragmatic is nothing but the consider the effect of overall context on altering the literal meaning of a sentence. If you change or swap the content of those words of a sentences, and if we change it, the meaning should not be changed, right? And that we need to understand when we are going to form a syntax tree. Okay, so to form a natural language, we are going to have very basic 5 steps, and those 5 steps are nothing but the syntax tree, semantic tree, pragmatic analysis. These are the 3 methods, and which is going to be formed in a modular compressions, where we accept a word or sound from a user, we convert it into the text, then we want to form in a syntactically correct manner, then we want to find out its meaning from that particular sentence, and once we form all those, we understood the query, Further, if we want to give the answer back to the user, we need to form the answer as per the rule, and the rules are nothing but the uh, verbs and nouns, and we need to form the sentence in the type of noun and verb, and once it is formed correctly, a meaningful output is going to be there, and then only we can give a correct answer with accuracy to the end. Okay, so this is overall the modular compression, how a text is going to be processed, how a query is being fired, and once any user wants to understand something from the Google, when you are going to type something into the Google, how the journey of that text is going to be there, that is going to be analyzed during your natural language processing. Okay, have you understood the things? Any difficulty?